What up, YouTube? It's your boy John Dash. I had this epiphany when I kind of was thinking about this new law that passed in New York recently. And basically, DoorDash drivers control their own destiny now. So it started off with Prop 22, which was kind of a one-off in California. And now with this new law in New York, I think that we're seeing the beginning of a change. So for those that aren't aware, just to kind of recap, that new New York law, essentially, I'll put it up here, it provides tip transparency. It allows Dashers to use public restrooms that I think most of the restaurants that they pick up at, and essentially is going to guarantee a minimum wage for Dashers or delivery people that I think goes into effect in 2023. So not quite yet. And from what they have in California, or at least from my understanding of how it works in California, what it does as far as that minimum wage goes is that when you go to a restaurant and you're waiting, it essentially compensates you for the amount you make when you're on the clock. And I'm not sure if it goes by base pay, tips, or there's some calculation combining the two, but it essentially calculates your time on the clock when you're waiting, when you're delivering. It ensures that you earn at least a minimum wage. I don't know what that wage is, but I'm just going to guess it's around $15 per hour. So the reason that I think this might be the beginning of a change, and I think that Dashers control their own destiny with this, is that number one, we're beginning to kind of develop a framework of what laws will be passed when it comes to the gig economy. We know that voters are willing to side with Dashers when it comes to minimum wage, when it comes to being able to use their bathrooms, when it comes to even tip transparency, seeing how much that we make. I think the next logical step would be trip transparency. So with what Uber Eats is doing with their new pay model, Uber Eats can't do that. They have to let us know where we're picking up from. They have to let us know where we're dropping off at. I mean, it's basically a matter of driver safety. Some people, depending on where you live, there's some restaurants that they don't want to pick up at, maybe because they wait too long, or maybe because that restaurant is an area that they don't drive in because it's a dangerous part of town. And that could also be said the same for drop-off destinations as well. Now, kind of going back to the beginning, why I think this is the beginning of something, and why I believe DoorDash drivers and Uber Eats drivers control their own destiny, 2 words: Ballot Initiatives. Now, in about a third of the states, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, across the United States, what they have is a process where citizens can essentially put laws on the books through ballot or voter initiatives. And what that is, for those that aren't familiar, I'll put a definition up here somewhere. But basically, at a high level, you go out, you draft up this initiative or what we want this law to be. Then we get out there, we got to get signatures on this petition. And I believe if you get over a certain number of signatures, I know in Arizona at least, somewhere between 250,000 and 300,000, I believe. But whatever that magic number of signatures is, then essentially that goes to the voting booth, which essentially means that when come election day, people can vote and make that law. So kind of what we're seeing in California and New York so far, we have an idea of the things that voters will pass. So we don't have to start from scratch. We can kind of take that and build upon it, like I was saying. We know people are willing to vote for tip transparency. Being able to use the restroom at whatever restaurant you're picking up from, that's just basic human decency. Now, on top of that, the minimum wage thing, if that becomes a thing, then it guarantees that at least when we go to those restaurants that take a lot of time to make the order, and basically we're sitting there waiting, that we at least make a minimum amount. And of course, we should be making that because we should be doing, pretty good order selection. But for the people who are top Dashers and whatnot, because somebody got to pick up those orders, well, look at helping our brethren Dashers pick up those minimum pay orders to at least help them earn minimum wage. Now I know what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of people care more about the restaurant side of things. And especially after this pandemic and through this pandemic that's going on in year 3 now, it's become louder and louder what these third-party delivery companies are doing, whether it be to Dashers or to be to restaurants or to be to small businesses. And right now, the court of public opinion doesn't look too highly upon these third-party delivery companies. So as a Dasher, it only makes sense to kind of partner with these restaurants in this case to say, hey, we should put something together. Hey, restaurants, you should draft up some legislation about capping your fees, making sure that these third-party delivery companies, they can't, take so much commission from you. And on top of that, what we'll do is, we slide in tip transparency, we slide in destination transparency, we slide in the minimum wage. But we make the issue bigger, we make this alliance about us Dashers and restaurants, and make the issue bigger about the restaurants, because the restaurants, let's be honest, they're making money, they got more backing, they have coalitions that exist already, And all we have are these gig worker collectives or these gig worker groups that are out there for the benefit of us gig workers. I don't know what their hand was in, passing this New York law or what it was in passing Prop 22. And essentially, if that's what they're doing during those coalitions, through those partnerships, we can get these type of things passed through the signatures, through the ballot initiatives, etc. Now, there's a lot of states that have these in here, and there's also precedence for this. There's a popular leafy green substance that just so long ago was illegal everywhere, and through ballot initiatives, through signatures, etc., is now legal in more than half the United States. So, kind of keeping that in mind, there's some popular YouTubers. One, I think More Finances in Utah, which is a ballot initiative state. Pedro's out in Missouri, that's also a ballot initiative state. I'm out here in Arizona, also a ballot initiative state. So right there, we have the potential to go from 2 states with these laws on the books to 5 in a short matter of time. We know that elections are coming up. Politicians are always trying to be popular. And the sooner we get this type of information out there, we get out there on the block asking for signatures, etc., the sooner we can make this into a reality and better control our own destiny. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. And essentially, make DoorDash the big bad boogeyman, make Uber Eats and all these companies, these third-party delivery companies, the big bad boogeyman. And make our coalition as strong as possible, get these signatures out there, get these ballot initiatives written up, get these on the voting ballots, and get these laws passed. All that being said, that's just all one man's opinion. This is something that I believe can happen. Obviously, I've kind of demonstrated the mechanisms exist for this to happen. We've already kind of seen that people are willing to vote these things into existence. And there's some states that on top of the ones that a signature can go become a vote, there's also ones where a signature can become a legislative issue, where essentially we can basically get the petition written up, and then it would be up to our politicians in the state to vote on it themselves, not us. So that one's a little bit different, but that also exists, and that expands the states that this could potentially happen in. But like I said, this is one man's opinion. Let me know in the comments below, do you agree that this is happening? Is this the beginning of something? Could this happen? Would you be part of making this happen? Would you be signing that petition? Would you be helping to move this petition to become a ballot measure or a ballot issue? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you think other states are going to take their cues from California and New York, which I know usually doesn't happen. But in the case of gig workers, in the case of restaurants, Colorado, I think, is one of the states that's already passed laws capping the fees. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Besides that, that's all I got to say in this video. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And until next time, dash optimally.